Hello and welcome to the Eurogamer newscast. It is the 13th of May 2021. My name is Wesley. I'm the editor of Eurogamer and I am joined once again by Eurogamer news editor, one day Tom, Tom Phillips. Say hello.
Hey there.
And Eurogamer reporter Emma Kent. Say hello.
Hello.
Another action-packed week of news for us to dig into, as usual. But before we get onto that, let's have our what we've been playing catch up. Tom, actually, I've got an idea of what you've been playing, and it's probably the same thing that I've been playing. So let's go with Emma first, so we don't bore Emma to tears for like 5 minutes straight, which I suspect we're going to do. So Emma, what have you been playing?
No, I'll just have a sneeze at that point. I've been playing Valheim again because I'm trying to do the final boss, and we attempted it last night. Oh boy, it went wrong.
Right, you finally made your attempt.
Wrong. Yeah, no, we were like, oh, should we just do it tonight? Everyone's on. Yay, yeah. Like, it didn't really prepare all that well. I'm in charge of like potions and food and stuff, and I was like, okay, we'll just have one potion each because I guess I just haven't had time to brew them. But we went.
You're in charge of potions and food.
Yeah, I've got like a witch hut
cool.
and a snack shack.
This is like the swap shop in Animal Crossing all over again.
Yeah, except no one gives me any feedback. Only take. Yeah, so we just went in and just got absolutely demolished by the final boss.
So where did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong?
We didn't have enough fire resistance potions. So because if you die, you just respawn and like everything you have is like gone off your body. And you have to go and get your stuff back again. And we just kind of got stuck in a cycle of dying and then trying to get our stuff back again and then dying before we could get it back. And then once we got there, we were like, okay, right, now we have no fire resistance because we used our one potion and just got burnt to a crisp. So that was good. We're going to have to spend probably several weeks trying to do it again.
So it's your fault, is what you're saying?
No, I just wasn't given the appropriate warning to prepare. I need to schedule.
It's like the mug check, the spot quiz all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know something's coming.
Advance warning.
Okay, well, I hope that you eventually, although once you've done this final boss, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Although you mod the game, don't you? So you've got a lot of
yeah, well, our plan is that once we've done that, a lot of people with Valheim do kind of speed runs, which is like essentially New Game Plus. So you have your character that you've created in this one world, and then you just take them to a new world, and you're like, how fast can I do all the bosses with the equipment I currently have? So we think of doing that, but then also installing a mod so that you can make a big cruise ship, so we can just sail between them all as a gang. But yeah, that's the plan.
Wow. I like the idea of players creating their own New Game Plus in lieu of like actual content from the developers. I don't think there's no one is like accusing the developers of not keep like it's just so many.
Yeah, there's only like 5 of them.
Yeah, and this whole success of this game has completely taken my surprise. So yeah, it's just the way it is. But I do love the way the players are sort of filling in the gaps. I've been seeing someone or maybe more than one person has recreated basically all of World of Warcraft in the game at this point. And I'm just like, just play World of Warcraft.
You wish.
I would. Right, Emma, prepare yourself for some real video game talk.
I know.
Because Tom, I know that you've been playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And I've been playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah, I have. I was actually going to troll you and start talking about Wrath of the Druids, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansion, which I have also been playing this week. It was like,
I actually would like to talk to you about that because it's set in Ireland. I'm half Irish, and I'm fascinated by how they've dealt with this. I need to check the accents, but we can talk about another time because Mass Effect is more pressing. So I started with Mass Effect 1. Did you? I assume you did.
I actually started with Mass Effect 2 soon before 3 came out, and then I did go back to 1 and did I've done several runs of the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think I've said before, I've been waiting to replay it. It's a franchise or it's a trilogy that I love dipping into, and I've thought about replaying over the past year and have been holding off for the Legendary Edition release, which is today, tomorrow, this week. It's great.
Yeah, it's we've been playing it ahead of release for a few days, and when you start the game, you can select if you want to start with 1, 2, or 3, and I started with 1. And my goal, this is my thought, is I'm actually going to replay the whole thing and carry my character through. Now I'm saying this now, but whether that happens, I don't know, because that's like 200 hours of play. Like I will say, like, there's not a lot of games coming out between now and probably the end of the year. So if it's going to happen,
you to September.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. So the world has conspired to allow me the chance to revisit Mass Effect. First impressions, Tom.
The controls haven't aged well, and I wish they'd updated those.
Controls are shit.
Because I keep because so in Mass Effect 1, the lore reason Mass Effect there isn't any bullets, and I like that you had that just ready.
Always on hand.
You knew this was going to happen. No, Tom, sorry. No, sorry. Emma, how dare you? Tom was having his lore moment. Why aren't there any bullets in Mass Effect?
Well, I won't go into that, but there's no reloading, and so the button that you would normally press on a control
it's grenade.
Is grenade, right? How many times, Wes, have you fired a grenade?
I know.
Which just like flings out like a discus, and
the grenade's shit as well.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
Usually, like, just I fire it at my own squad and almost blow them up. Running, you have to press and hold down A as Shepard runs.
Imagine that.
It's bizarre.
The cover system is terrible as well.
Yeah,
you never know when you're in cover. The crouch walk is one of the most bizarre. This game came out in 2007, and it's very like. No, actually, that's not even fair, because Gears of War came out before this, and Gears of War is a million times better in terms of controls, movement, cover, shooting, everything. Squad management, and you had more people to manage in the squad. So
I think that Gears of War does not have as good a writing, story, characters, narrative arc, and the RPG focus was real with
yes,
rather than the shooting focus, which did change over the course of the
trilogy. But it's 2021, Tom.
Like I said,
it would have been nice if they had. Yeah,
I wish they'd put in an alternate control scheme. I would imagine that it would have changed too much of how the game.
Yeah, it would have made it fun to move.
Yeah,
and shoot. Yeah.
I will say that, like, after sort of 3, 4, 5 hours, you just sort of.
No, you don't.
Get used to it.
After 3 hours.
No, you don't even. He is so biased towards Mass Effect that he's saying this, but it's not true. I've been playing it. I played about 5.5 hours, and I still keep chucking out those crappy grenades. Like,
what I will say is, I played it for 5 hours, and still the only sort of combat bit that I've done is Eden Prime at the beginning, because then I've just been walking around the Citadel talking to everybody.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Can you remap the controls at all, or is that just?
No.
Oh boy.
No.
Why would you want to, Emma? Because you get used to it after 500 hours.
About accessibility with this, because it hasn't been updated at all, which is odd. Good. Because they've changed they've improved the Mako controls, but we reported like last week, you can go back to the bad Mako controls. So why haven't they done something with these, the rest of the game? I mean, it is just Mass Effect 1. The trouble was always going to be, when you're replaying the trilogy, that Mass Effect 1 is the toughest one to sort of get through in terms of how much it has aged.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the visuals are far, far better. The work that they've done in the environment.
It looks too clean to me.
That's because there was nothing there originally except just like dark.
The film grain.
There is still film grain.
Yeah, but it's seeing it like in like a high res. It looks a bit too clean to me at times. I'm being nitpicky. I still think, it's just the atmosphere is great, characters are great, setup's great, everything. it's been amazing going back to it. It's been really weird as well replaying it, because it's reminded me of a time in my life where I had just started as a games journalist full time. Literally, I think Mass Effect came out month 2 of my career, and it was late 2007, and it was like every week when another massive game was coming out. Halo 3 came out, Mass Effect came out, Rock Band came out, Mario Galaxy I think came out, Crisis came out. I'm missing loads. Like, it was just Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out. It was insane. And I remember Mass Effect came out and I absolutely loved it. And I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, this industry is just absolutely incredible. It's just bringing all of these memories back, playing it.
And you wouldn't have had the same memories if you were playing it with a competent control scheme.
Yeah, I will say some of it is aged badly. Like, there's some of the dialogue is a bit cringe now. Like, kind of like weird alien sex creepy cringe.
Yes, I don't think that they would do the consort stuff in the same way. That was a bit weird.
The consort stuff, yeah. I've just done that and it's like, Emma, are you right?
Yeah. Maybe if I try this, I'll just skip the first one.
You can.
The story is so good. The characters are amazing. Emma, you would like, there's a lot about it I think you would like, but it's almost unplayable.
Okay.
It's almost unplayable.
See if a PC modder can fix it or something.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. That is a great thought.
This is how I've been playing Cyberpunk. Just install a bunch of mods to fix all the stuff that's broken.
You know, Tom, Emma's right. Someone is going to mod the controls on PC.
No doubt.
It's actually... Fuck. I'm playing it on PS5. Shit.
Whoops.
But yeah, the music, oh my God, like even the menu screen, just all the memories flowing back, it's just so good. Oh man. So that's the next 200 hours of my life right there.
Same.
And my wife has watched me play it back in the day, 2007, and she's rewatching me play it now. And it's like our exciting thing to do on an evening now. It's like, once we get the kids to bed, right, Mass Effect on, perving over Kaiden and Alenko all over again. I'm like, can we please make some different decisions this time? Because my wife is such a goody two-shoes. Everything is like Paragon, nice, do everything for everyone. Don't be rude. Don't even like be slightly, everything is just such goody two-shoes. And please, can we just punch someone in the face for once? No. Are you Renegade or Paragon in it, Tom?
I'm always Paragon, and I'm probably going to make the same general decisions this time too. And I will save Kaiden. I've been walking around the Presidium with Ashley, and just the number of times she said, "I can't tell the aliens from the animals." I'm like, "Yeah,
she's
you're
such
dying.
a space racist." Space racist.
Goodbye.
But Emma, are you good are you normally good or bad in games where you have that very obvious RPG like?
I normally kind of go for good first, and then if I do a second playthrough, I'm just an arsehole to everyone because then I know who to be mean to. I just go all the way.
You've done your research.
Exactly.
And now the pain begins.
Yeah, this is prepping all over again.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, we should probably talk about some news. Just Tom and me could just probably talk about Mass Effect all day. It wouldn't be very fun.
We'll do a mass cast.
Yeah, Emma can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm just reaching for the pillow all over again.
Let's talk about E3. E3 is starting to take shape with some companies saying what they're gonna do, what they're not gonna do, and E3 itself announcing a few bits and bobs. Tom, E3 has just basically laid out its plan for what to expect. What are they doing?
So they're going to try and recreate an event experience for people, because E3 is generally not something that most people go to. If you like tune into E3, it's online, it's via streams, or you see reported coverage from people who are there on YouTube, on websites, who do go around the convention center. But this year, there is no convention center again. And so they are making this app/online portal where you can log in, create a profile and an avatar, talk on the forums, and see how you are doing on leaderboards, and visit virtual booths and things. It's going to be interesting to see what this looks like. They haven't shown it yet, but it's going to be a kind of virtual E3 thing that you can play with if you want. Presumably these things will also be just also streamed to YouTube.
I mean,
it's still quite unclear. Like, so a bunch of companies have said that they're going to be attending E3 this year, but what does attending E3 this year mean?
Presumably, it means they're going to do something during the E3 week.
Yeah, but like, have they paid the ESA for this? Are they like, what? Presumably it means that they're going to be part of this app/online portal thing that that has just been announced. So yeah, we'll see what exactly that looks like. And then there are companies that are just like, nah, we're not anything to do with that. And it was funny to see EA this week say, yeah, we'll do EA Play this year, but it's not even going to be the same week as E3 now. We're comfortable, or we prefer to do it a month later in July, which is not even keeping up the pretense of it sort of being a connected event. But when there's not a physical event and there's just this sort of nebulous app portal thing, why not do it when it's better suited to you?
I also think companies are a bit behind, understandably, than where they would normally be because of coronavirus and lockdowns and stuff. So they might just not be ready.
Yeah, so why crunch? Like, why crunch?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
That doesn't really exist.
And then also just like, I think the trend is towards showing stuff closer to release anyway. So E3 typically is like what we would play, what we'll buy at Christmas is essentially the whole premise of the show. And you know, just show it off in August. You know, it doesn't matter now if it's that close to when it's coming out. Some people prefer it.
Yeah, I hope that EA also does more of its sort of looking ahead stuff, because I'm very keen to see more Dragon Age.
Well, I was going to say, right, so, yeah. So what are we? We'll have a dedicated E3 show before the E3 comes out, where we'll talk about what we expect to see. But EA has laid its marker and said it's going to do this thing when it's going to do its thing. So I think we can talk about that. Emma, are you expecting anything? Do you have any idea what to expect for EA Play? Is there anything you'd like to see them show off at that show?
Probably be the next FIFA, won't it?
It will definitely be in the next FIFA, yeah.
So
I mean, but I know you're not personally looking forward to that.
Maybe, I'm sure there'll be some more Apex Legends stuff. Have a look at what they're doing in pipeline. They said that they want to do like more PvE content in future, but I don't know if it'll be that close coming up.
What would be the next natural thing for Apex for them to show that would be big enough for like an EA Play?
If they were doing another big season, maybe like a new map or something. I think they will undoubtedly have a little slot in there for something, but they seem to be doing kind of big flagship seasons every so often now to really get those like numbers up, and it works.
What about, do we think it's too early for Respawn to show, I can never remember the name of this bloody game. Fallen Order 2.
That one.
Star Wars Fallen Order 2.
I think probably. I feel like that might be more of a next year or year after thing. But never know.
Dragon Age 4, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. They showed it a couple of times last year, and the date it's still a long way off, but it's getting closer, and I think it would be odd if an E3 passed and we didn't get some kind of update. We've seen in-engine stuff now, so an actual trailer showing characters for the first time, I think would be really nice. And you know, they may even show another thing for Mass Effect that's further down the line, but they like giving a little tease. Last year we got a glimpse of the game that's now been canned from Motive, so it's quite interesting. I'm expecting at least one thing to pop up at E3 that will surprise people. That's still a far away thing.
Do we think that Nintendo is going to do a Nintendo Direct during the E3 week in the way that they have done for years now?
Yeah, almost certainly. They're a very traditional company, and I think that they know that fans think of E3, they think of it being the big Nintendo reveal event of the year, and there is definitely a need to set the stage for the back half of 2021 and to talk about what they are going to do with their Legend of Zelda anniversary plans beyond just porting Skyward Sword, because clearly that can't be the only thing that they will do to celebrate it. And what's going to happen with Breath of the Wild 2? That's the question that everybody will be looking to Nintendo to answer.
Well, it's less than a month away now, which is crazy to me. I do miss E3, like actually going. I know it can be a bit of a nightmare, but I hope it comes back.
It's the most stressful week of my year, and also one of the most memorable, for sure. It's so much fun. I do miss it. Okay. I don't miss LA, but I do miss E3.
Let's talk about Microsoft, who've made an interesting announcement this week. Emma, you've reported on this. Microsoft's console purchase pilot, who I wouldn't trust to fly a plane, looks like a new way to avoid Xbox Series scalping. Scalping is obviously a huge problem at the moment for consoles, the next-gen consoles, something I want to talk about in relation to PlayStation a little bit, but specifically regarding what they're doing here, what have they said?
Well, yeah, I think the idea with this is it's kind of like a little test that they're doing in the US only at the moment, with some Xbox insiders. So you have to be an Xbox Insider member, and I think you also have to be like invited to the program. What you do is you register, and you can get like assigned an Xbox Series X or S, and then you can sign up on like your Xbox or PC through the Insider app, but you have to make a payment through your Xbox One. And basically what that means is that you can't do the kind of scalper bot thing of trying to like make payments on a PC browser and trying to, you know, push through a bunch of orders before humans can do it. And then that way it's like attached to your Insider account, and you have to do it on your Xbox One. And I think it's also, it probably means that, you know, it's encouraging people who are loyal to the brand to be able to get a new Xbox rather than just people who might be trying to, you know, sell it on.
It's really
do we
smart.
think this is I was going to say, do we think this sounds like quite clever?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for sure. It definitely puts a load of barriers in place to stop people buying on bulk.
You're also lifting barriers for people who, as you say, are Xbox fans, and they are probably more likely to be looking already at an Xbox purchase. You're just making it easier for those people.
Nice. GG Microsoft. I hope it goes well, because I would like to see some sort of scalper counter, because it's been a real problem, and it ties into another story that we've had this week, which is comments from Sony's chief financial officer Hiroki Totoki, which is a wonderful name, who says that Sony expects it will continue to struggle to meet PS5 demand into 2022, which is pretty grim for anyone who's trying to get a PS5. Now, I think like Xbox Series X has its problems in terms of like getting one, but PS5 is on another level. Like, you cannot get a PS5 for love nor money. The scalpers just snap them up like that, and then, you know, essentially if you want one, you have to pay over the odds, and it's been like that since launch. 6 months later, it's still like that. This is the quote: "I don't think demand is coming down this year, and even if we secure a lot more devices and produce many more units of the PS5 next year, our supply wouldn't be able to catch up with demand." we have sold more than 100 million units of the PlayStation 4, and considering our market share and reputation, I can't imagine demand dropping easily. So what he's saying is PS5 is so popular because we're so good, he's basically saying, that we just can't make enough. Can't make enough. And then, you know, you've also got the manufacturing issue related to components, which is affecting all sort of, you know, PC gaming related hardware. It's affecting production Nintendo Switch, or it may affect production Nintendo Switch as well. Semiconductors in this case. So it looks like PS5 is just going to be impossible to get for like the rest of the year. And that taps into the scalper issue. It was really interesting to see the comments on that story that we did this week, because almost everyone is saying scalpers don't seem to have a problem getting them. And you're like, yeah, you're right. You can go on eBay right now. If you want one, you can get one. But you're paying $1,000 for it. Would we like to see Sony maybe try copy Microsoft here?
Yeah, there's no reason, apart from they don't have the same kind of program set up already, but there's no reason why they couldn't.
I'd like to see something be done. One of the things that he's sort of suggesting in this is, because PS4 is so popular, it's just basically a momentum thing that they've carried forward to PS5, which I think is interesting. And that tallies a lot with just anecdotally people I know who aren't like in the industry bubble like we are, where I've said, oh, why are you getting a PS5? Because they really want to get one, they just can't get one. And it's basically, I'm just, you know, I play with my friends on Fortnite on PS4, and play FIFA on PS4, and I just want to carry it all over. So I can see where he's coming from, even if it is one of those sort of like arrogant flexes that you tend to get out of these people. Let's move on to Ubisoft. You've had an interesting week. They had their financials this week, and we won't go into the numbers because that's boring. But one of the two interesting stories that I think we should talk about, let's talk about Skull and Bones, which has been delayed again, and now won't arrive before 2022. Tom, let's talk to you about Skull and Bones, because I know you're on top of this. What is the problem? What is the problem with this game?
Apart from Sea of Thieves, I think. So, I mean, it was announced like 5 years ago as a breakaway from the piratey gameplay that was in Assassin's Creed at the time, and it was fine. I played it at an E3 about 5 years ago, and you know, it was. I can see it having come out and just sort of sunk without a trace. But the I think it's a good thing that it's not come out and been half-assed, and games have moved on in the last 5 years. And I think if you are launching a game now, it has to be, you know, it will be much more successful if it's a certain type of game. So that is the sort of game that it has changed in development over time as trends change, and they keep waiting for the right time to release it in its current guise, whatever that guise may be, and it hasn't come around yet. And it's just going to be a bit longer. It is interesting that it's been delayed again, because I think as far as I knew, it was pretty much on track. So this is a further delay, and obviously they've decided that they do want to take a bit more time with it. I wonder how it ties into the increased focus on free-to-play games that they also talked about this week.
Yeah, well, I was gonna. It leads naturally into that, but I want to read out Ubisoft's quote where they announced the delay, because they're leaning into the boat puns as well. Ubisoft told fans, "We're going to batten down the hatches and push back on the game's arrival. This is challenging news for us all, but it's what's needed to make Skull and Bones as awesome as it can be." I do like sea-related stuff. There's so much pun potential.
The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure they said that they were battening down the hatches about 3 or 4 years ago as well, when it was delayed the
doing
first
it again.
time.
Doubly backing down.
But like, I don't. It's not a negative thing, right? The worst thing that could happen is for this game to come out and just not do well after so long, after so many years of development. And it's far better that they take the time to make it fun and launch it at a time when they can actually support it.
Okay, well, let's talk about what Ubisoft might be thinking about for this. It's got Far Cry 6 coming up, Rainbow Six Quarantine coming up, Rider Republic. I don't know what that is. I've forgotten about what that is. Free to play The Division Heartland and Roller Champions. Remember that? There's obviously other stuff as well that they haven't announced that they'll be working on. But in terms of like current financial year, that's the slate. One of the things that they talked about that got a bit of people talking was that they said they will release big budget free to play versions of some of their major franchises, as well as continuing to like the traditional full price AAA releases that you get like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. But the suggestion some people have taken from this is they're basically focusing on free to play over, traditional AAA. I mean, free to play can be AAA. I mean, it is. Warzone is. Anyway, they felt so strongly about the reaction to this that they had to put out another comment, which we have published. And they say, our intention is to deliver a diverse lineup of games that players will love across all platforms. We are excited to be investing more in free-to-play experiences. However, we want to clarify that this does not mean reducing our AAA offering. Our aim is to continue to deliver premium experiences to players, such as Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Riders Republic, and Skull and Bones, to name a few, while also expanding our free-to-play portfolio and strengthening our brands to reach even more players. Tom, let's start with you. What are they saying? What is actually happening behind, the statements and the headlines? What do we actually think is going on here?
There's several things that are going on. The most surface level thing is that they see great success in high budget free to play games and want to make those as well as all of the other things that they are doing. And you mentioned Call of Duty Warzone. That's a really good example. In fact, in our story, we've got a quote from a Ubisoft business guy who cites Call of Duty Warzone as an example of what they want to do with their big budget franchises, which is to continue releasing the box games as Call of Duty does every year. So Ubisoft will continue in the same vein, releasing their box games. There will be like more Tom Clancy games down the line, but they're also doing Tom Clancy's The Division: Heartland as a free-to-play game, and like both of those things can coexist. And they've announced previously, reconfirmed it this week, that they're still building content for Division 2, which isn't going free-to-play. So they're saying we are going to do more premium free-to-play stuff. We see it as a way to get people who don't want to now buy a £70 game, but we want them to play The Division. This is a way for us to get these people into playing our franchises. And the other thing I would say is that there are fewer AAA games now. They're not announcing that this week. That has just been a trend in the industry for a long time. If you look at like Assassins is no longer an annual franchise, thank God, because you're battling franchise fatigue, you're battling developers having to crunch to get a game out every year. And it's not the best way to service that audience. Like games now don't come out and are £40 and you play them and then there's another one the next year. It's like, no, these games are living as services. And so, Far Cry is coming out
Tell that to Activision
as well. Yeah, well, when you're working on one franchise only, I guess that's a bit different. But yeah, there's a bunch of things going on, but it does not mean that Assassin's Creed is cancelled.
Emma, one of the things I think is interesting about I've seen this, which is the debate about what AAA is and what free-to-play is. Do we look down our noses at free-to-play? Is there like a snobbish snootiness amongst the like core gaming community when you hear the phrase free-to-play? where this statement, the stuff that's coming out from Ubisoft is, set alarm bells ringing, because people imagine free to play to be a certain type of game that is different from AAA.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's more about how they're monetized rather than the kind of quality of the game. Because if you think like Apex Legends is a really good game, but it's also got loot boxes, and that is something that I don't like about it, because it is to me, I find it quite a manipulative way of getting money from people. It's like encouraging people to, essentially it's like low-key gambling to get goodies. And I understand that they have to make money, but I prefer it when they go for like a cosmetic route, more like Fortnite. But yeah, I think people do feel like sometimes it can be a bit grubby when those sort of mechanisms are used to get money from people, and maybe that's why it's less popular. It's a bit more, it's a bit closer to like the mobile games market, where they really do try and force the money out of you, a lot of time gating and stuff like that.
Right. So the point is, it's not like the game itself is inferior. It's just it's more about how you can feel like you're being ripped off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because like the Warzone, say what you will about Activision, they've come up with a way to, actually Epic has with Fortnite, right? No one complains about Fortnite monetization, really, do they? And like people complain about Call of Duty all the time, but typically there's no, I mean, it's not always the case, but there's meant to not be any gameplay affecting items that you can buy from the store. There are no loot boxes. So when I see like people looking down their noses at the phrase free to play, I'm like, have you played Warzone? Like, it's one of the best feeling shooters ever made, in my opinion. See, look, Emma, your Apex is letting the side down.
I know, yeah.
And just, there are lots of free to play games that have got shitty monetization. That is a good point. But what is it? To bring it back to Skull and Bones, they make a point of saying that's a premium game in their statement. Premium experiences to players such as Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Riders Republic, and Skull and Bones. So we can take from that, they haven't retooled Skull and Bones to be like a free-to-play pirate, battle royale or something. I don't know what people might be concerned about. They're still very much saying it's going to be like a 60, 70 quid game. So that one is safe. Emma, can you imagine what a free-to-play Assassins would look like?
Oh gosh.
As an Assassins fan,
actually, to be honest, Assassins already has like its own little microtransaction store in it, so pretty much the same.
Free to play to me is multiplayer. Like, it has to be multiplayer. I can't. Single player focus games don't tend to be free to play in my mind.
You would have to gate story.
Yeah.
It would be terrible. I think that if they were to do an Assassin's free-to-play game, then yeah, a multiplayer experience would probably be the way that they would do it. They have had multiplayer modes in the past. AC2 through till up until Unity had multiplayer in it. Competitive. Unity had cooperative, didn't work. Maybe they would try that again, but yeah, that would be the easiest way to sell like battle passes and skins.
It's going to be an Assassin's Creed Battle Royale set in Croydon. You heard it here first. Ancient Croydon. I don't even know what ancient Croydon looks like. Actually, it's not. It's 1970s.
Just have to run
Croydon.
around stabbing people as much as possible.
I mean, that's like Assassin's Creed. Yeah, and you've got lots of roofs to parkour over, and it just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks until you end up at Whitgift Centre, and then it's just like the final circle as always. Anyway, one of the other interesting stories that came out relating to financial reports, again, I'm not going to bore anyone with numbers, was EA had their financials this week. And as part of that, they talked about Battlefield 6, which is due out later this year. Now, the headline here is they've said Battlefield 6 is designed for PS5 and Xbox Series X, but will also run on last gen. Cue the apocalypse, the end of the world, the internet's melted, Battlefield fans are rioting on the streets, everyone is up in arms. But what does this actually mean? Let's try and understand what they're actually saying here and what we'll actually get. I'll start with you, Emma, on this. Do you believe that Battlefield 6 can be designed for PS5 and Xbox Series X and also run on last gen? Or are the two mutually exclusive? Like, what can this game be in that way?
God, I can understand, I think, why people are surprised about this, because a lot of the kind of build up has been talking about how Battlefield 6 is going to be, you know, this really revolutionary game for like next gen with like massive maps and like destructibility and all of that kind of thing. So I guess that's probably a little bit why people are worried about this. And we also know like what happened to Cyberpunk as well, when it tried to like straddle the divide with a game that was possibly too much for kind of last gen consoles. I don't really know how they're going to do it, if they want to do that kind of next gen experience and also make it work on last gen. I'm not sure, but hopefully they'll find a way.
Tom, do we expect two very different experiences?
I can't see how, in terms of gameplay and mechanics and modes, that could be possible, because all of this will be designed. The whole reason that they're putting it on last gen consoles is to increase the audience, and if you split it, then you're not increasing the audience, you're just segregating it. So I think that the differences that we'll see will be in visual terms, and it will be that it just doesn't run as well on previous consoles, obviously, as current ones, but that, you know, the current ones haven't been compromised to a place where the player count, the map size has been tuned down. It's that I think last gen consoles will just struggle a bit, probably have, you know, lower frame rates, resolutions, the obvious kind of stuff.
Right, so expecting a consistent experience, the only differences will be frame rate and resolution. That's basically what we're saying. I mean, that's Call of Duty.
I would assume so, yeah.
That's how COD does it. There were some people who were expecting this game to just be next gen only, and I couldn't understand that. Like, I was expecting this game to come out on PS4 and Xbox One from the start. The store bases are so huge. How could EA possibly?
Yeah, and you still can't get a lot of the new consoles.
Like 8 million PS5 sold. You know, EA will probably be hoping for more, for 15, 20 million sales of the game. Like, so I don't understand where that was coming from. This game was always going to come out on last gen consoles.
Marketing. It comes from marketing. When they say this is a next gen Battlefield, it's been designed for next gen consoles, people will be like, okay,
it must just be for next gen then.
Yeah, it is. Obviously it is just marketing, and the reality is they need to sell to the millions of people who haven't yet fought off a scalper and bought a PlayStation 5. But
well, if you look at Call of Duty, it's got crossplay across gens. So, like, if the game is any way different in any meaningful way, it wouldn't work. So, but no one accuses Call of Duty of being like held back. You know, it just is what it is. But Battlefield is different, I think, because in people's minds, Battlefield is a real like a hardware pusher kind of game. You know, it's like with it, you've got destructible environments and other mechanics. Like, it's always been one that where the visuals and, you know, the amount of like physics and stuff that's going on, whatever, has been part of the deal. Whereas Call of Duty has never really been about that.
It's also not annual. It's an event, and people have been waiting for Battlefield 6 for years and years. And I think that there is more of an expectation for it to come out and sort of like, this is Battlefield, and this is Battlefield not only for the next year, because Call of Duty titles get thrown in the bin after 12 months. It will be, this is the Battlefield. It's true. For the next 5 years or whatever, as like, this is the line in the sand that we're now going to be working from, which is another reason why people are like, really, last gen consoles? Because, you know, in 5 years' time, or 3 years' time, probably, if they're still releasing content for Battlefield 6, as they probably will be, in 3 years' time, like a far fewer number of people are going to be playing on PS4.
Right. So this leads directly into my next question. I'll put to both of you. What year does EA leave PS4, Xbox One behind? When will we see? What year will we see the actual next gen game from them, where that is not hamstrung by having to make a consistent experience across gens? Emma, I'll start with you. What year do we reckon?
2023.
Okay, so let's say 2021 is Battlefield 6. I could see Battlefield 7 coming out in 2023. So maybe that will leave it behind. What do you reckon, Tom?
I think 2023. Yeah, I think that is when we'll probably see Dragon Age. And that's not being developed for last gen consoles. And I can see Battlefield 6 being supported through 2023 at the earliest. FIFA obviously will still come out for last gen consoles through then, probably later.
FIFA will be, FIFA is the last remaining. And Just Dance.
Just Dance is Ubisoft, but I
know those two.
Oh, like that's still basically only just
isn't there still a Wii?
It's only just finished. Only just.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think 2023 when you see stuff like Mass Effect, the Dragon Age that's coming in.
Okay, mark your calendars. 2023. This is what we've said, so it's going to happen. We're running out of time, but there's been some funny stories this week, which I think are worth talking about. 3 funny stories that I want to talk about. The first one is about our old friend Peely. Now, the Epic Apple trial has thrown up some brilliant stories so far, and it's not even 2 weeks old. But this one, I mean, I just cannot believe the things that are being said in court. This is the headline. Epic versus Apple trial debates appropriateness of Fortnite's naked banana man Peely. Now, I'm going to just read out what was said because it's just so crazy that lawyers are being paid millions of dollars to say this in court about a video game. Peely came under scrutiny for being a naked piece of fruit with arms and legs. A lawyer for Apple brought up Peely in court and made a deal of showing the character wearing clothes. As you point out in your story, Tom, his Chapter 2, Season 2, Bond-esque agent Peely tuxedo. Here's the quote. "We have a large yellow banana here in a tuxedo?" the lawyer asked. "Yes, that's Peely," Epic Games' marketing boss Matthew Weisinger replied. "We thought it was better to go with the suit instead of the naked banana because we are in federal court right now," Apple's lawyer noted, before going on to ask questions about Peely's exclusivity in certain paid-for battle passes. Now, the suggestion here is the line of questioning was intended by Apple to paint Epic as some greedy game company exploiting children and exposing them to lewd content. However, when Epic's own lawyer later took the stand, they called out Apple's attack on poor old Peely. This is a quote from Epic's lawyer. "A little bit of a digression. We talked about Peely, our banana. There might have been an implication that showing Peely without a suit might have been inappropriate. Is there anything inappropriate about Peely without clothes?" Epic's lawyer asked Weisinger. Weisinger replied, "It's just a banana, man."
Tom, getting a bit fruity.
Tom, in Fortnite law, what is Peely underneath?
There's a Halloween version of Peely, which is disgusting, and it's a cross section, and you can see his skeleton and also his guts. So the banana skin is his skin. It's the skin. It's also a skin.
Wait, so the banana skin, the thing that you peel, is his skin.
Yes.
The banana is his skin as well.
The Halloween peely suggests that the skin is his skin, and the banana, the bit they actually eat, is
also his.
Is his flesh, is his insides, is his internal organs.
Well, there is a skin of him where he's in like swimming trunks, though.
But yes, as Emma points out, there is the summer peely where he is unpeeled and it's like the white inner banana that you would eat, wearing, like trunks and shades. But
but that X-ray, the skeleton thing shows that inside the banana that you would eat is like man stuff.
Yes. Well, Fortnite is a multiverse, and so there's different versions of Peely, and Peely's insides can exist at the same time.
Wait, so we're saying that there's multiple versions of Peely from different dimensions?
Yeah, there are definitely multiple Peelys. There are definitely multiple versions of other characters. Or it's the same character and they've become looped in time and things change. Glad you asked now, aren't you?
It is disgusting. I'm with Apple on this. I wouldn't show my kids a picture of Peely. Disgusting. It is. I'm sorry. Peely is a moral panic, as far as I'm concerned. Should be banned.
Wow. Well, good luck with that in court.
I love in your story how you had a warning for potentially not safe for work content, and then a picture of Peely.
Thinking of the kids, man.
What the hell? Okay, that's what first story. Funny story number one. Funny story number two. Ubisoft will now brand all its own games as Ubisoft originals. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought that they were Ubisoft originals when they made a game, because Ubisoft made them. So why are they doing this?
Kind of suggests that Ubisoft is going to publish games that aren't made by Ubisoft, doesn't it?
Are they just trying to do that annoying thing that you get on like streaming TV now, where everything is like, if they really want you to watch it because they spent some money on it, they put original in front of it?
Yeah, the contradictory thing is, so you have that on Netflix, the Netflix original stuff for shows that they make, but then EA originals are its independent publishing program where it publishes games made by other studios. So
everything is original unless it's a direct copy. So
maybe they're going to start launching those.
Direct copy, yeah.
They're just going to start ripping off other people, and so they're going to differentiate.
That's for the Assassin's Creed Battle for there. That's the Assassin's Creed Battle Royale.
Yeah,
that won't be Ubisoft original. Okay. Now, funny story number 3 from this week, and this is I think funnier, the funniest of all. Nintendo Switch is getting a calculator app priced £8. Now, I mean, we could do with it. We are shit at maths as a team, no doubt. Everyone has a free calculator on their phone. Everyone on the planet, yeah? So why would anyone spend £8 on a calculator you can only use on a Switch? Can someone help me out here?
Can you imagine that being in a boardroom, just being like, let me just get my Switch out for some maths?
The chief financial officer at Nintendo works out how much to pay everyone. He does payroll on the calculator app on the Switch. Can someone help me out here? Why is this? Can someone please help me out here and explain this to me? Why does calculator app exist? Why does the calculator app exist?
Well, the app exists because some third-party developer has decided that they'll release this shit shovelware on a Switch eShop for a ridiculous price.
Why is it on the eShop?
Why it has been allowed to go on the eShop? That is that is a good question. I don't understand. But if you look on the iOS App Store, there are a million calculator apps. I don't understand how it's got through Nintendo's.
No doubt. Yeah, iOS is a shit show. Everyone knows that.
That's because Nintendo looked at it and probably like, reasonably priced. It's not £45.
They probably think it's cheap. They're like, what? Why is everyone complaining? It's like the cheapest thing on the eShop.
I like the idea that now now you can do calculator stuff on the Switch. You can argue that you should be able to take it into school. Maybe that will appeal to people.
Oh my God. You think a kid is going to ask their parents, can you please buy this £8 calculator on my Switch? I need it for school.
I think they might try and hold it up to teachers and be
quickly
like,
swap it over.
Yeah, it's a calculator, miss. Look, I'm not playing games, and then go back to playing games.
The eShop is just gone to shit, hasn't it? Like Nintendo, a long time ago. This is one of the worst things I've seen on a console storefront ever. An £8 calculator. Dear God, I'm telling you it's just world's gone mad. I like your strap line for this. Sign of the times. Very good, Tom.
This is Nintendo's version of The Division, a Ubisoft original.
This is a Nintendo original calculator. I mean, I looked at this. I actually looked at it and I was like, just give me something that makes it more than a calculator, like any calculator. Like more like, is there like a little Mario that does something? Anything like Yoshi tongue? Anything?
It's not made by Nintendo. You can't put that stuff in.
There's nothing. It's just a calculator app that you've got on your phone for free. £8.
You could write boobs with it though. So the only purpose for calculators in school.
Please, you didn't do that.
No.
You actually, I bet you had loads of calculators, knowing you. You've had like bag filled of calculators.
We used to have like those really hardcore ones for like maths class, which are like had proper things on them. I now can't remember anymore.
What you just said there explains a lot about why we're so shit at math. Yeah, I had a calculator with things on it. That was just for show.
Additional functions.
Yeah, we are, as a news team, absolutely terrible at maths. And when we do reports on financials, it's just the worst. Matt Wells, our evening reporter, has this theory, which is you can't be good at maths and good at writing. Like, it's just impossible for a human to be like that. And I'm going to go with that because that suggests that we're good at writing.
Hold on.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's just roll with that one. All right. A fun week of video game news. I'm sure next week we'll bring even more craziness, as is usual in this industry. Let's finish with the traditional mug check. I'm going to get out early and say I haven't got a mug because this was all last minute for me and everyone. So I've got a Costa cup because I went to Costa this morning to grab a coffee just before I got home, after dropping the kids off. So I apologise. However, I have ordered a mug for next week's show, and it's a fucking banger. So as shit as this is, next week is going to make up for it. Trust.
Right, hold you to that.
Yeah. You got it. You hold me to that. Tom, let's start with you.
I've got a big watermelon cup.
Oh, that's actually really nice. I like that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Keeps your drink warm.
That's great. Oh
it looks like slightly gloopy on the top, though. It's like, like a melted watermelon.
It looks very Mario to me, like something out of Mario. Is your t-shirt Eurogamer t-shirt?
Yeah, it's Eurogamer Pride from a couple of years back.
Nice. Emma.
I have a mug that my parents gave me, which has Me with my dog.
Wow. Wow.
It's my own face. I was like, you could have just given me one with Maisie on it, my dog. And they're like, no, you can look at yourself while having your coffee.
I don't know anybody anywhere that I've ever met who has a photo of themselves on a mug that they own.
You know, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for mugs now. It's like reaching right on the back.
I can see why you've waited for this one.
You are desperate. If you bust that out on this, you are desperate. Oh my God, you got a mug with your own face on it. What?
Yeah.
I would never show anyone that.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
You look so happy with your dog as well.
Yeah, what do you miss them?
Imagine looking at your face in your cup. Like,
yeah, I just normally kind of angle it so I can see Maisie. And
I love this bit of the show. So funny. All right. I'm sorry, I'm crying. I can't believe that.
Is that what you ordered, Wes? Is that what you're getting next week?
I'm gonna send it back
with you on it.
Yeah, it's just me. Yeah. All the way around, so there's no angle that you can look at it without seeing my face.
Would it be like your face and several faces are just really stretched?
It's just stretched. Yeah, just all the way around, stretched face. It's like my skin wrapped around a mug.
Oh no, that's actually what like the textures look like from games. You know, if you ever see the 2D ball.
My face skin just flattened out and then wrapped around the mug.
Well, I look forward to seeing.
The handle is one of my ears. Oh, brilliant. Okay. I can't even think of something to set up our Twitter handles. Tom, what are you on Twitter? I can't.
I'm Tom Phillips EG.
Emma, what are you on Twitter?
Gonnie FK.
Show me the mug again. I've got to see it again. I'm sorry.
Oh.
My Dimitri costume too. Very on brand.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you can see it. It's the cloak that I made.
Nice.
So this is the cosplay that you got upvoted on Reddit loads, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is like
it was like a Halloween
on
costume.
Reddit.
Yeah.
I just saw it on Twitter, Slack, Insta, and basically every other social network.
Look, it took a long time to make.
And a mug now.
And a mug. Get your official merchandise here.
Yeah. Check it out. Check me out on Reddit. Holy shit. Okay. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.
Bye.